the role of a higher being. Belief in a higher power has been a cornerstone in the construction of moral codes throughout history. Divine command theory, in particular, has had a significant impact. Divine command theory. Definition: moral rightness is determined by the commands of a divine being. An action is right if God decrees it so. Religious influence. Many of the world's religions offer ethical guidelines said to originate from a divine source, providing a clear framework for followers. Philosophical implications. Moral objectivism suggests an objective moral order grounded in divine will. Independence of morality. The debate about whether morality is independent of divine command. Criticisms. Euthyphro dilemma poses the question of whether actions are good because God commands them or if God commands them because they are inherently good, questioning the arbitrariness. Pluralism problem. With many religions proposing different divine commands, determining which set of commands is correct becomes problematic. Rationality in moral judgments. Rationality is the linchpin of many ethical frameworks, especially within the Western philosophical tradition, where logic and consistency are paramount. Kantian ethics. Categorical imperative. Kant's principle that acts must be universalizable to be moral. Moral autonomy. The idea that moral agents should make decisions independent of external influences, guided by reason. Universality and necessity. Moral judgments must apply universally and be necessary rather than contingent. Other rationalist approaches. Social contract theory. The view that moral norms stem from rational agreements between free and equal persons. Consequentialist rationality. The evaluation of moral decisions based on outcomes, often employing utilitarian calculus. The influence of emotion. While reason has been traditionally esteemed in moral philosophy, the role of emotion in moral cognition is gaining recognition. Hume's sentimentalism. Moral sentiments emphasizes the importance of feelings such as empathy, guilt, and moral outrage in shaping moral judgments. Reason and passion. Hume famously stated, "Reason is, and ought only to be the slave of the passions." Contemporary perspectives on emotion. Neuroethics studies how brain processes underlie moral thinking and emotional responses. Moral intuitionism proposes that quick, effect-laden intuitions can guide moral judgments. Natural law and morality. Natural law theory is one of the classical approaches that grounds morality in the natural order of the world, often aligning it with rationality. Classical natural law. Human purpose. The theory posits that humans have an innate purpose discernible through reason. Moral realism asserts that moral truths exist and are objective, rooted in human nature. Modern developments. Bioethics and natural law applies natural law principles to contemporary ethical dilemmas in medicine and technology. Environmental ethics extends the principles of natural law to the rights and intrinsic value of the non-human natural world. Gender and ethical decision-making. The influence of gender on moral reasoning recognizes that men and women may approach ethical issues differently, often due to societal roles and conditioning. Carol Gilligan's ethics of care. Different voice theory proposes that women are more inclined towards care and maintaining relationships in their moral reasoning. Moral development. Gilligan's critique of Kohlberg's stages of moral development for being male-centric. Beyond Gilligan. Feminist ethics. Broader ethical approach that incorporates women's perspectives and experiences into moral consideration. Intersectionality expands the discourse to include how overlapping social identities, race, class, sexuality, impact moral judgments. Environmental context of morality. The environmental context can shape moral judgments, particularly as global ecological concerns become more prominent. Ecocentric ethics. Intrinsic value of nature. The belief that nature has value beyond its utility to humans. Environmental stewardship. The notion that humans have a responsibility to protect and preserve the natural world. Anthropocentrism versus ecocentrism. Human-centered morality. The traditional view that only human interests are of moral concern. Ecocentric view challenges anthropocentrism by arguing for the moral considerability of all elements of the ecosystem. Intergenerational justice. The moral considerations involving the rights and well-being of future generations regarding environmental decisions made today.